Welcome back to Market Day Reports. Last time we're going to get together here before we leave for the day, except for you're going to stick around, aren't you? Top of the hour, 1 Central, 2 Eastern is when we have some fun. We talk about the Cow Guy Close. We got a great guest again, 3 great guests lined up. We've got some really good subjects to talk about. I'm already getting excited about it, but that's going to be the Cow Guy Close, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Join us. We're having a lot of fun. And we're getting some good information across to you as well. Again, 1 Central, 2 Eastern, the Cow Guy Close, and that's going to be in exactly 16 minutes and 30 seconds from right now. All right, how about that? Let's take a look and see what we've got going on in our markets, though, because we want to give you a good idea about where we're going home. Let's start with corn. It's up about where it was last time we checked, 3 1/4 cents higher in that D's contract. 4.74 3/4 is last. We're about 2 1/4 cents off the highs, and we've got about a 10-cent range over there. So that'll give you an idea that we're kind of bumping up against it. But again, 3 1/4 cents higher. 4.74 3/4 is last. D's corn. Moving on to the soybeans. Let's take a look at that. We were just a little easier, still are, steady a little bit easier across the board. We're 2 cents lower in that NOV contract at 13.14 3/4. I guess you could say we're about 5 cents off the highs, 6 cents off the lows, because we're right in the middle of the daily range, about 11 cents, right? So again, we're up or off about 2 cents, lower by 2 cents across the board. 13.15 is last in no beans. Let's go to the wheat in Chicago. That Chicago wheat. Let's take a look. 5 3/4 cents lower in that D's contract. 5.85 is last there. About 4.5 cents off the lows. 7 cents from the highs. That'll give you an idea about what's happening in the Chicago wheat market. We're off 4 1/4 cents behind it in the March to 6.12.5. So that's wheat in Chicago. Let's go to the Kansas City wheat market. That's hard red. It's almost unchanged across the board. We're off just a half cent, 2 ticks in that D's contract up front. 7.34 is last there, about 3 1/4 cents off of the highs, and we're well off the lows by about 12 cents. So we're a half cent lower on the day. D's is now down 7.34, down to the price is 7.34.5. All right, that's hard red in Kansas City. Let's go to the spring wheat in Minneapolis. 3.5 cents higher there. Here we go, turning things around. A penny off the highs. 7.81 is last. And we're about 14 cents off the lows. So not too bad, right? We're bumping up against it by about a penny, 3.5 cents higher. Spring wheat, Minneapolis, 7.81 is the price. That's December. And then let's take a look and see what the cotton's got for us. 47 points higher there to 87.47. All right, let's bring in our next guest analyst. Our last guest analyst, too. He's batting cleanup today. That's Ted Seifried from Zaner Ag Hedge. Ted, thanks for being on. All right, brother. What do you got for us? Let's rock our world with something that nobody else has said all day today.
I got nothing, Scott. I mean, that sounds more fun. But, yeah, it's a quiet day. Look, we had some fireworks yesterday of, sharply lower soybeans. Soybeans are trying to bounce off that 100-day moving average, which is also the broader upward trend channel. This isn't very convincing. I mean, down 2 cents. There's been a number of analysts that have kind of said, hey, this might be the harvest low. I don't know. Price action isn't thrilling me yet. It could. I mean, this could be a body of work over the next couple of days. But I worry, Scott, that this might be one of those years where that harvest low doesn't come when everybody wants it to come. And also, I'm not so sure what sort of bullish news we're going to get between now and, say, October WASDE report. Yeah, we're going to hear some yield results and things like that. But, I mean, the trade really hasn't been paying attention to that yet. Will it start? I don't know. Again, I think it's just, do we see it from the USDA or not in October? Between now and then, I'm not sure if we have to put harvest lows in quite yet.
To your point, the market's been trading like the bushels are there. I mean, that's one thing that feels like for sure to me. And then also, everybody wants to talk about how tight things are in soybeans. And, look, we take a bushel of yield off of this thing and boy, oh boy. But you know what? They're not. And I haven't heard any real, stories that it's going to make me feel any different. And if the market was afraid of it, they'd be trading higher.
Yeah, the problem with the soybeans and the tight yield and everything, or tight production number, we're taking weeks off the export window. With Brazil planting 2 to 3 weeks early, presumably that would mean they're harvesting 2 to 3 weeks early. That's cutting in our export window by 2 to 3 weeks. And then with the issue we're having with the river right now, you look at last week's export sales, that's obviously having an impact on either us being willing to sell or global importers being willing to buy. I'm going to say that's going to take a week or two off, the equivalent of a week or two off of our export program. And all of a sudden, we're talking 150 million bushels. Now, I don't think it'll be that much, but hey, that's enough room to take another bushel and a half off the yield and still have a
right
over.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's a lot of other things that play there, and then sometime as we get going into the fall and then the spring, and if we do have a tightness issue, we'll all be looking at next year's crop anyway, and it kind of takes the wind out of the sails. All right, stay right there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge in Chicago after this. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about the livestock, right? That's the other side of the ledger. And I'm wearing a cow jacket, so I kind of feel like I got to do that, right? Why don't we take a quick peek and see what's going on? In October, live cattle, we're down 37 cents. Now we're down 35 cents. 185.97 is last there. Oh, I'm going to call that 32 cents off the lows. We've had kind of just under a $2 range, but we're bumping up against things to the downside. Kind of a wet blanket right now. 22 cents lower in the D's. 190 spot 77 is last there. Feeder cattle also were lower today, and they have been, and we've added another dime to it to the downside. October's down now $1.45. 259.50 is last, and we're still 22 cents from the lows there. That's October feeders. And let's get to the lean hogs. We'll get back to our guest analyst. They're higher today. Look, I can say that. You can tell my voice likes it, right? $1.62 higher in that October contract. 84.87 is last. Let's get back to our guest analyst, Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge. Ted, thanks for sticking around. I know you're busy. All right. What do you got to say real quick about these livestock prices?
Okay, so you can say feeders are down because corn's up. Fine, but I think it's bigger than that, right? I mean, you really kind of gotten to this point of maybe exhaustion in the live cattle. Couldn't hold on to the strength earlier and started to slide. Kind of due for a bit of a correction, and we're looking for some cash trade to really give us more direction. I do think, as we get further along in the seasonality of box beef prices to go up, especially as we get closer to the holidays and things like that, that's good. But this is a market that's been in a bull run for a very long period of time and hasn't had any sort of deeper correction. And that's just not very typical of really any market, because at some point you got to scare the other side, right? so yeah, no, I don't know. I wonder if we're kind of closer to some sort of event like that. At the very least, I think it's a good time to be looking at maybe taking some downside protection here, if you haven't been doing that already. But yes, now I think is not a bad time to have some downside.
Right. Great points. Really appreciate you coming on. Always good content. Thank you very much, Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge in Chicago. I'll bring it back here to Nashville so I can hand it over to Suzanne one more time.